Hello, Homestead. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence.
From Homestead Media, this is HHS In-Depth.
Welcome back to HHS In-Depth. On today's show, you'll learn more about the new diploma type the state of Indiana is releasing later this year and how it will affect Homestead students. You'll be introduced to a new bookstore here in Fort Wayne that highlights the importance of female authors. Then you hear tips on how you as a student can both balance school and work. Finally, to wrap up the show, we will cover all you need to know in Spartan athletics this week in a new installment of Down to the Wire. All of this and much more coming up on today's edition of HHS In-Depth.
Today is Friday, November 15th, and thank you for joining us on HHS In-Depth. I'm Caroline Burns.
And I'm Riley Trolio. And Caroline, these temperatures just keep dropping, and I don't even know what to wear to school half the time.
Agreed, because the temperature that I walk into school with and what I walk out of is two completely different climates. And honestly, I'm not sure I like either one.
Luckily, and now is weather reporter Kaya Noam telling us our weekend weather.
Well, guys, winter temps are emerging as fall begins to dwindle away. Today, clouds will be around and will climb up to a high of 54 degrees at the end of the school day. For those making plans tonight, look for temps to drop down into the 40s. Looking into the weekend, on Saturday, it will hit a high of 55 with mostly cloudy skies. Things stay consistent for Sunday with a high of 60, but a little less sunshine than we'll get tomorrow. Mother Nature seems to finally understand that November equals fall-like temperatures. I'll tell you what you can expect for the upcoming week a little later on. Kaya Noam, HHS In-Depth.
And now we go beyond Homestead.
In national news, less than 2 hours from here, Richard Allen, the man arrested in connection with the Delphi murder case in 2017, has been found guilty on all accounts and now faces a sentence of 130 years in prison. Allen was charged with the murder of teenage girls Abby Williams and Libby German from Delphi, Indiana, who disappeared during a walk 7 years ago and were later found dead. After the verdict was announced, cheers and relief filled the courtroom on Monday. Allen will be officially sentenced in December. In other news, the film adaptation of the hit Broadway musical Wicked, written by Winnie Holzman as a prequel to The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, will be released next Friday, starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. Critics have already hailed the movie as a masterpiece, and anticipation for Friday's release is high across all 50 states. A sequel continuing the adventures of Glinda and Elphaba has already begun production and is set for release next November.
Thank you, Caroline, for some news outside of Homestead. We'll be right back on HHS In-Depth.
Welcome back to HHS In-Depth.
Students often complain that the skills they learn at school are not typically relevant to their planned career paths. However, the state of Indiana recently announced plans for a new, more career-relevant high school academic path. Reporter Michael Foxworthy joins us now with a breakdown of these new changes.
That's right. The Indiana Department of Education recently released their plans for a new high school diploma, referred to as the Indiana GPS Diploma. But what's so special about this diploma, and how did it come to be? Last March, the Indiana DOE released the first draft of a new diploma, which was criticized for lack of required credits in social studies and world language. Then, in July, the state held several public hearings and listened to online comments from citizens about the changes. On August 14th, the second draft was released to a better reception, being supported by colleges like Ball State, Purdue, Ivy Tech, and a few others. The second draft has a few standard changes from our current Core 40, like less credits in PE and social studies, but more in math and science. There would also be a few new mandatory classes like computer science and world perspectives. This new diploma also has the advantage of offering both honors and honors plus readiness seals for enrollment, employment, and enlistment, while having unique requirements such as needing a certain amount of hours in work-based learning or public service, needing to graduate with an associate's degree or similar credential, or needing a leadership position in a co-curricular activity. Sources say some high schools may be able to adopt this diploma as soon as next school year, with current options also staying available. But how soon will Homestead start offering this new diploma, and what changes might SACS make to it?
Once the GPS diploma is approved, it's still going through the final stages of that. It is to start with the class of 2029. With any diploma, the diploma becomes the state minimum, but you can do some local decisions on that. Once the diplomas are finalized, we'll kind of be reviewing those to make sure that we still have a diploma that serves as a foundation for all post-secondary options, whether that be college or trade schools or a 2-year one, and just make sure students have a foundation with lots of open doors and work.
The state of Indiana are currently holding a 30-day comment period in relation to this new draft and are planning on a final verdict by early December. Michael Foxworthy, HHS In-Depth.
Thanks for the story, Michael. Key Cup's Family Feud Night is coming on Tuesday, November 19th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the cafeteria. Team up with 3 to 5 friends for a chance to win $50. To play, the cost is $7 per person, and the sign-up sheet is in Mrs. Wiley's room, A1043, or Student Services. You must sign up by the end of today. Emails and our title at the email address shown below.
Homestead's Spartan Alliance Marching Band competed in the ISMA State Finals competition this past weekend. They placed 5th with a score of 90.05, adding another great result to their list of successes this past season.
This year we placed 5th in Class A. The band had a wonderful performance. Kids got off the field like we always want them to, with high spirits and feeling like they'd accomplished something great. We would say for sure it was the best show of the season. And I think the kids felt that way. You could tell the staff felt that way. There were lots of hugs and tears and everybody very excited coming off that field.
Congratulations to our Spartan performers on another successful state finals performance, and good luck to the band as they take the field today and tomorrow at the Bands of America Grand National Championships in Indianapolis to finish out their season.
Students, don't miss the early bird price for the 2025 yearbook. Order by December 20th at yearbookforever.com or by scanning the QR code in the graphic. Also, if your club wants a group photo in the yearbook, ask your sponsor to sign up using the monthly Google form sent to all sponsors.
Congratulations to Homestead Latin teacher Mrs. Waite, who was named the Indiana Classical Conference's 2024 Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Waite received this award at the Indiana Foreign Language Teachers Association conference in Indianapolis last weekend, honoring her dedication to teaching, leadership, and service to language education across the state.
Last weekend, Father the Bride set a new attendance record for Homestead Play, also marking the first production on the new stage in the new auditorium. The directors were incredibly proud of the cast and crew for bringing the show to life in such a memorable way.
The aspects of the fall play successfully were everything. The cast was phenomenal. They just really came together knowing that this was the first play put on in our new space. So everything from the line delivery to the use of stage, the use of the scenery, and everything that they got thrown at them throughout the process of getting the show on its feet was successful.
If you love performing holiday classics, whether vocally or with instruments, don't miss the chance to audition for the Evergreen Cabaret, happening in late December. The event includes a talent show where the winner chooses their own charity to receive the raised funds. Auditions are after school in the Gray Box on Monday, November 25th. For more information, contact the students at the email addresses shown below.
This year marks the 20th anniversary of the Poetry Out Loud program, a great opportunity for students to build valuable life skills and compete for cash prizes. State winners can earn $200 and a trip to Washington, D.C. for nationals, where the top prize is $20,000. Now here's Mrs. Robber with more exciting news.
This is a program where students memorize and recite poetry, and it's not too late to join. Our next meeting is Wednesday, November 20th. The competition is in January, but I also want to publicize the program for the future for underclassmen. Poetry Out Loud's only 20 years old, so it's pretty new, and I'm hoping that it will last 100 years as well. The speaking skills that students can practice and learn are useful for so many careers, and if you have questions, you can come see me. I'm in A 2019. You could send me an email and you can check out Poetry Out Loud at their website.
As the world becomes more digital, physical books are losing popularity, and local bookstores are becoming rare around Fort Wayne. However, a new bookstore has recently opened, offering students a place to shop and enjoy reading. Reporter Grace Dickmeyer joins us now with more on the story.
Sunbound Books, a new bookstore that recently opened on the north side of Fort Wayne, has a unique inventory, primarily featuring female authors. The reason for opening a bookstore highlighting female authors is cherished and personal for the owner.
I am a mom of 2 young kids, and I majored in English when I was in college, and I read a lot of male authors when I was in school. That's kind of like the classic American literature, and when I graduated, I really appreciated reading voices and stories that I hadn't gotten to read when I was in school.
There are many advantages to shopping at an independent bookstore rather than a large chain store.
What I do is really try to curate a selection that's specific, and it's not going to appeal to everyone, but hopefully it's going to really appeal to the people who it does. Being able to be in the community and know people who are coming, to be able to partner with local authors, it's just something that chain bookstores aren't able to do in the same way because they have a different goal. They're not trying to give back to the community like I am.
Kelpin is not only interested in highlighting female authors, but also local ones.
I'm really excited because we have a local author shelf, and I've gotten to meet and had a lot of women authors come in actually and sign some of their books that we have here. So I have some, author talks scheduled, and there's a really good community of women authors in Fort Wayne and Indiana.
If you are interested in visiting Sunbound Books, be sure to check out their address below. Grace Dickmeyer, HHS In-Depth.
If you like the brisk temperatures, then you're in luck. Monday's high is 60 and partly cloudy, while Tuesday is going to rain with the high being 61. Wednesday's high will be lower than the temps we saw earlier this week, with a cold 49 degrees. Thursday is projected to be the coldest day of the week, with the high reaching 43 degrees. Thursday will also come with rain and possibly even snow showers. Definitely start to unpack your winter apparel. Kaya Noem, HHS In-Depth.
Welcome back to HHS In-Depth.
Balancing schoolwork with a job can make it difficult to not feel stressed. Reporter Anelia Rybka joins us now to give us the details on how to manage both work and school without feeling too overwhelmed.
Are you thinking about getting a job for some extra spending money or for saving for college? Balancing school and work may be hard, but with the right time management, you can get both good grades and excel in the workforce.
I enjoy my job a lot, actually. I really like to work with the kids and to get to know them, be able to take care of them, help them out with their homework and stuff like that.
I like being able to see all the people and my coworkers and talking to everybody. I specifically work in the bakery department, and so I get to ice cupcakes and cakes, and it's a lot of fun, and I get to be creative.
Sometimes I struggle to balance school and work because it can be a little bit hard when you have a heavy workload, but I think what I do most is I section off my homework like in study hall and some at home.
I prioritize my schoolwork and I try to get everything done. Usually I get it done at school.
I really just like never being home. I feel like I'm never home, and when I am home, I'm like doing schoolwork, so that's not very fun.
I do sometimes wish I had a little bit more free time.
I do recommend students to get jobs. I think it teaches a lot of like time management and activity like management.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I think it gives a good opportunity into what you can get into after high school.
With this, while it may be hard to balance work and school, your fellow students can help. And hopefully you can understand better and decide for yourself. Anelia Rybka, HHS In-Depth.
Thank you for the story, Anelia. Stick around. We'll be back with much more on HHS In-Depth.
November is National Veterans and Military Families Month, and ever since 1954, Veterans Day has been November 11th. 2.6 million people across the U.S. are part of a military family. Those serving and those who have served do so much for the country. Make sure to thank the veterans you know this month.
Next week, reporter Keegan McClure brings us a story over how student government prepares for the upcoming semi-formal. Be sure to catch that story and much more next week on HHS In-Depth.
Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm Josh Bobe, and with fall sports in the past, we can start looking to the future with our winter sports teams. But first, let's start off with a recap of our fall sports teams. The girls cross-country team placed 4th at state, with the boys finishing 7th. Football ended their season 5-5 after a tough 20-14 loss to Hamilton Southeastern in the sectional semifinals. Boys tennis won regionals, but fell to Penn in semi-state. Ben Garion competed at individual state finals, wrapping up a strong 23-5 season. Girls volleyball finished 27-8 with a sectional championship before a close regional loss to Carroll. Girls soccer made it to the regional finals, ending 16-3-1 after a loss to Noblesville. And boys soccer finished in sectional finals against Warsaw. Unified flag football season ended in sectional finals versus Carroll 33-32. Lastly, girls golf placed 11th at state. Congratulations to all fall teams on their great seasons. Moving on to winter sports, Wednesday, the girls basketball team headed up to Northridge for their season opener and won in stunning fashion 62-60. Carly Mollering had a career-high 23 points on 7 three-pointers. Gabby Helsum had 22 points with 8 rebounds, and Maya Epps had 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. After starting 1-0, the girls are back to Homestead to host Wayne tonight. Show out for the home opener and wear blue to match the student section theme, Sea of Blue, and cheer on the Spartans as they look to go 2-0. Also on Wednesday, here at Homestead, DECA hosted the annual Students vs. Staff basketball game. The teachers won the game after a comeback at the end to win 46-45. The game was a fun time for everyone, including the Champions Together dance team, which had a terrific halftime performance. Thank you to everyone who participated and helped make the game possible. That'll wrap up this week's edition of Down to the Wire. Make sure to follow Homestead Athletics on both Instagram and Twitter for updates on Homestead-related sports news. Josh Bobe, HHS In-Depth. Back to you, Riley and Caroline.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you for watching our show today. That'll do it for today's episode of HHS In-Depth.
Make sure to follow our socials and keep up with the latest news from Homestead Media.
Have a great weekend, Homestead, and we'll see you back right here next week.